Hi, this is Skip with MACkite, and I was fortunate enough last week to head up a couple sessions on the Mystic Stage wing harness. This is a couple that they have in their lineup, comparing this to the Carbon X. This is their thinner profile harness. So what I wanted to do is just spend a couple of minutes to go through some of the features of this harness, compare it to the OG Wingman harness that we initially rode when we first started getting into winging, and then give you some thoughts after I rode this, comparing this to the Carbon X. Stepping into some of the features of this stage harness is it has the typical features that the Carbon X also has, which is the nylon hook, which is nice for not dinging up your board versus a metal hook that you can potentially knock into your board. So thank you, Mystics, for doing that, as well as a little bit of an adjustment that you have on the sliding hook. So as you're sliding back and forth, this will articulate left to right to make sure that you have your hips kind of in the right position as you're going back and forth. The great thing about this harness too is the double Velcro enclosure. This was an update from the original Wingman harness that had an old traditional enclosure that sometimes the nylon strap would be stuck in the back and would fly out on you. The great thing about both of these harnesses, both the Carbon X and the Stages harness, is this has the double Velcro enclosure. So this will go ahead and just knock twice in there. So instead of having that nylon piece that I showed you on the original Wingman, what this does is just double over itself and gives you that constant enclosure, and you don't have the potential of the old Wingman issue that I've experienced in the past with this flopping out on you and then getting in a little bit of your nylon hookway that you have to go ahead and go back and forth. So I really like that update. Another difference between the original Wingman and the upgraded harness that we have here is you can see the EVA foam molding and how this doesn't have as much support as the new harnesses do. So you can see how this has a little bit of more back support, still having a little bit of a minimal design comparing this to the Carbon X that has a wider back shell. This gives you a little bit more stability and a little bit more back support when I felt going from this back to the Carbon X. Another cool couple of different features that you have on this are two different attachment points that you have in the back of the harness. You can either go ahead and just Lark's head either your wing or your board harness on one of those, or just use the traditional hook and then hook it into the side. It doesn't have the old nylon loop that we had with the old Wingman, but what I did is I just went ahead and took an old modified nylon loop that I had to kind of do the same thing, attached an O-ring on the back of this so this goes back and forth, so I didn't have to decide if I wanted this on the left or the right hand side. After a few sessions with comparing this to the Carbon X, what I did like about this is since it is EVA, it doesn't retain any water whatsoever. So it seems pretty thin, but that does give you some nice back support that I felt when I was leaning back. I'm traditionally in the harness as much as possible just to extend my sessions. And I did feel that this had some great back support. If you compare the back support of the Stages to the Carbon X, obviously with this Carbon X back support that's quite a bit larger, you're going to get a larger amount of back support with this model versus the Stages. But with folks that are trying to get into winging and also using a harness, this might be a great step for you. So you don't have the initial investment in going into a larger harness just to get kind of familiar with using a harness and having that minimal design that you have in the back. Some of the feedback I've heard from other riders is they didn't like that bulk that you have on your waist area, and this does, as you can see, kind of thin it out because it is the thinner focus that we had back in the Wingman as well. Any questions that you have about either this harness or the Carbon X, please feel free to give us a call at the shop. Again, this is Skip with MACkite. See you in the water.
Hey, good afternoon. This is Skip at MACkite. Hi, this is Skip with MACkite.